Hello and welcome back to Vox Terra. President Trump has declared himself the law and order president, but the media underreports Trump's environmental policies. If they did, the public would see that he is definitely, no matter where you stand on the culture war, culture clash issues, Trump is not the law and order president when it comes to our environment. I'm going to share with you a few articles that illustrate that point, and that if more people were aware of, I believe we could help bring the public together past some of this culture clash issues. On June 4th, the Natural Resource Defense Council let out a press release stating, "Trump tries to throw out environmental reviews while nation is in crisis." Environmental reviews. Trump tries to throw out environmental reviews. Well, what does that mean? To show that, I'm going to share with you an article I found from The Hill. The Hill. Trump signs order removing environmental review of major projects by Rebecca Beich. June 4th, 2020. President Trump signed an executive order Thursday evening that would waive requirements under a suite of environmental laws. So what are these suite of environmental laws? These laws include Endangered Species Act, Clean Water Act, National Environmental Policy Act, or NEPA, which require rigorous environmental review before building new infrastructure like highways and pipelines. The environmental movement has largely opposed new pipeline development because we don't want to commit to another 50 years of fossil fuel infrastructure. And interestingly, the administration's justification to push through these new projects without environmental review is that they want to help push economic development. But remember, in my earlier video about green stimulus, I cited from an Oxford study that shows that actually investing in greener infrastructure, greener technologies, cleaner power sources, grid efficiency, that type of thing produces more wealth and helps create more jobs than funding business as usual, or what the article called higher carbon projects. Going back to the Hill article, agencies will now have 30 days to report which projects will be expedited under the order, but there is no requirement for that list to be publicized. Now, I included that quote because that's been another part of the tactics of this administration to aid what I consider the reckless elements of the business community, which is to not share information with the public. And we saw that from the very early days of this administration, where they were removing information related to climate change from the White House website and other places. The Hill article, quoting Nada Culver, Senior Policy Counsel with the National Audubon Society, and I cite them because, like the Natural Resource Defense Council, National Audubon Society is another reputable, excellent environmental organization that I think people should be aware of. NADA said regarding removing these requirements, now you're cutting out a number of major steps that were involved prior to new constructs. You're not conducting adequate environmental review, and you're not receiving public comments or responding to public comments. So these environmental reviews included a public comment period where members from the public could weigh in and say, I object to this new project, or I'm concerned about something or other here. And then the government or the industries would have to respond. Well, now that's being removed. I included that quote because that pushes back against what I call the denial industry argument that environmental protections are a way of taking freedom away. We often hear that, right? The environmental movement is part of some plot to take away freedom. Well, look, those reviews were actually democratic because they give the public a chance to weigh in and start posing questions to the developers and the government. Now that's being taken away. That sounds like less freedom to me. But this has been the case all along during this crisis, this coronavirus crisis, and even earlier. This has been the tactic of the Trump administration, this more lawlessness towards our environment. Here, look, PBS News Hour, March 27th. Quote, citing outbreak, EPA has stopped enforcing environmental laws. So back to March, already citing the outbreak, the EPA stopped enforcing environmental laws. Well, what the media often lets out is this has real consequences to our public health. We are, as a result, being exposed to more toxins. We are, as a result, being exposed to more greenhouse gases, which help heat our planet. And also, the non-enforcement of laws goes to another issue that people like to claim when they are opposing regulations. They like to claim that, well, regulations slow down business or hamper the economy. But really, another way you could look at it is enforcement of regulations favors more responsible players against more irresponsible players. Now, there are issues with regulations. Myself, as someone who has dealt with regulators, I could go into that in another video. But for the most part, we're talking about favoring more responsible actors over less responsible actors. If the rules are not being enforced, then someone following them now is paying a higher price than someone who is not following them. And this disadvantages that more responsible actor in the marketplace. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. Please share my videos. Please comment, mannerly comments preferred. Anyone can trade insults. Please like, and until next time, peace be with you.